Alright, what is goody in the hoodie? It's your boy, ADHD Vixer, and today we're going to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist yet again. Now, the reason why I'm playing this game again is not only because it's just fun as fuck, but also, I played this game recently on the channel. If you've seen that, go check that out. And yes, I understand the video title is called Legend, but it's actually supposed to be Legacy. I will fix that by the time this video goes out, don't worry. Anyways, so I was playing that game, and I was telling a couple people watch my video, kind of see what it's about. And a lot of people, I was getting a mixed response. Some people were saying, how do I play Yu-Gi-Oh? I've never heard of it even. What is Yu-Gi-Oh? What the hell is it about? And then I had other people saying, I've heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! I've seen maybe 1 or 2 or 3 episodes, maybe 4 or 5, but I still don't understand the rules and how to play. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be taking you basically on a step-by-step journey on how you yourself can play Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, of course, as much as the show is called Yu-Gi-Oh!, the game that they play in the show is called Duel Monsters, right? There was a game invented by a man named, I forget his full name, but I know his last name is Pegasus. They call him Pegasus, and he was the creator, which is why Pegasus in the show is basically the most overpowered person in the show, because he created the game. So he has all the cards, he made it. So he has everything that could possibly be imaginable in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe at his disposal. But we're going to be showing you how to play. Mind you, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master myself, but I have played and I know how to play, and I can show you how to play. I'm not going to show you strategies or anything like that because I suck, but this is going to be a simple rule book almost, if you will. So the first thing you want to do is you want to load it up right here. As you can see, we have this rock, paper, scissors going on. Now this is going to decide who gets to pick what. Now you can, okay, so let me preface. If you pick and you win, you're not necessarily going first. You can pick to go first or you can pick to go second. But if you win, you get to pick, right? So if we're going to pick, so I won, that's good. So we're going to pick to go first because why would you guys, there is a strategic plan if you want to go second. There is a way that's a good option. You can, it's not stupid. But for the strategy we're going for, we're just going to kill them. So we don't really care. We're just going to go first. Alright, so obviously that means we're going to get the first turn and we're going to get second turn. So, off the bat, we have a couple things that you need to notice. So obviously everything here looks really crazy, and you're probably wondering, what the fuck, it's so confusing, everything's so jarring to you. There's really only one thing you need to notice, or two things, and that's the deck on the bottom, where these are all your cards that you have at the moment. So in a real Yu-Gi-Oh! Match, if you're playing a real game of Duel Monsters in person, you would have all your cards, kind of like poker, you'd have all your cards in your little hands, you know, and you'd be shuffling them like this. Of course, like a poker match, nobody can see your cards, that's the whole point. That's why on the other side, I can't see what he has. There are cards, so we're getting ahead of ourselves here. So obviously, we can see what our cards are, we can't see his, right? Now, this is our side of the playing field, and this is his, the opponent's, hers, his, whoever's playing as the opponent, right? Now, there is one thing you should note. There are cards that do different things. Different cards have different abilities. Some are fucking ass, others are fucking amazing and OP. It depends on what you get. It depends on how you... So each player has a deck, and you make your own deck. Now, of course, I'm playing the story mode, so obviously I'm using the deck, the story it's based off of. It's based off the story, so I'm going to get a pre-made deck, which is perfect. It kind of makes it easy. So the first thing you want to notice is, okay, what do I do? Like, how do I win? So obviously on the top you have something called LP. This stands for life points. Life points is basically your health. Now in the story, in the show, in the actual cartoon, there's 2,000 life points, but for the sake of gameplay, they made it 8,000 because 2,000 the matches would end so fast. It would be super easy. You'd be able to speedrun the game in like 5 minutes. So they made it 8,000, which is a good balance. So it's not lower canon, but again, LP could be whatever you want. It doesn't have to be 2,000. It could be 5,000. It could be a million. It could be 7 million trillion. But they're going for 8,000 just because it makes the game, you know, the pacing better. Anyways, so the first thing you want to notice is you have cards that you can play as monsters. Now these monsters can be played and they can be summoned or set. Now what this means is when you summon a monster, you will put it on the field and it will be in attack mode. This means that it will be, number one, this will be your monster you have a possibility of attacking with. Now, if you set it, it means it will be sideways, which means it's in defense mode. Or it also can mean that you haven't really played it yet. You have it on the field, but it's not going to do anything until you want it to do something. Now, the beauty of setting a card on the field is when you set a card, it will always be face down, which means this little void, basically the back of the card will be facing up, which means your opponent will not know what that card is, okay, at that time. Okay, which means you can have anything, basically you can have tricks up your sleeve, and this is where trap cards come into play. These are cards that can basically trap the enemy, and if you're careful enough and if you're methodic enough, you can trap your enemy and do crazy things. Now, of course, there are negates and rules to this. If you have a card that is face down, some cards that the opponent can use basically are cards that will force you to do certain things. One of them can be, I get to see your entire deck for 1 second and I get to see all your cards. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but we're going to summon this card because we want to attack with this card. Well, first of all, we want to see one thing. Two things. This is our attack. This little axe thing is our attack, and this is our defense. Cards can attack or defend depending on what you want them to do. The next thing you have to notice is these little balls, almost like Dragon Ball kind of looking thing. These little 4 balls. There's 4. If a card has more than 5 balls at a time, right, you cannot place that card as your first card. You have to have, so like this card, for example, this one has 5 little balls, right? What does this mean? This means that if you wanted to play this card, you have to get rid of a card that is already on the field. And since we do not have any cards on the field, this is why this one is able to attack, and whatever, this one you can't do shit, right? So this means that we must have any card, any monster on the field, right, before we can put this down, because this takes away a monster in replace for this one, right? Now, there are certain cards that are not monsters, but they're ability cards, and these things do things, whatever the fuck, they do all kinds of things. There's different ones that do this. So, for example, we're going to take a look at this one. This one, for example, it increases the attack and defense of all dinosaur, zombie, and rock type monsters. So, since we are going to look, do we have any of those types of monsters, which are, what did we say? Zombie, dinosaur, and rock type. This is not a dinosaur, not a rock, whatever. Same thing with this one, not a dinosaur. So these cards are basically useless right now. So we're gonna obviously put the only card we can put on the deck right there. Bam. We're gonna summon that card. Boom, bada bing. Now that's really all we can do, because you can only put one monster down at a time per turn. You can put as many abilities as you can if you're able to, but monsters only 1 per turn. So we're done. So we're gonna EP, which means end phase, which means we're gonna enter turn. It's just a fancy saying end turn. So now our opponent, Condom Head, is gonna play now. So we're gonna see what he does. So now be very wary of what he just did. Okay, so what he just did is he put down a forest card. Now what this allows him, oh fuck. So okay, so everything's happening so fast. I'm sorry. What essentially he did is he put a forest card down. Now you have to know what the cards do before you put them in. You have to know. So we show details. So this one says it increases the ATK and defense of all insect, beast, plant, blah, 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 blah. So right now, since this is a forest, any bugs or any insects he put will get a buff, because this is kind of their territory, you know, so they will get a buff. So that is why you have to be careful, because right now, any insects he puts will get a buff. Not what we want. So we're going to find out a way to counter that. The best way would be to get a card that burns the forest. There is a card that does that. There is a card that does that. We don't have it on our deck. Now, each turn, you will pull one single card from the deck into your hands, unless you have a card that allows you to specifically pull a certain amount of cards, or that gives you a certain ability involving pulling cards out of the deck, that kind of thing. Unless stated otherwise, you will only pull one card out of the deck at a time. Basically is what I'm getting at. So we're going to place this card because, well, first of all, we want to see what his abilities are. So he has 1,700 attack and 1,800 defense. That's pretty OP. It's pretty good. Really good. This guy sucks ass. So what this means is if we were to attack, we would not win, because we have to have more attack damage than he does to win. Or I'm sorry, we have to have more defense. Like our attack has to be higher than our opponent's defense. So we have 1,200. His defense is 1,800. So if we attack, we will drop his health for sure, but we won't win, which means since he has a higher thing than we do, he's just going to kill us and blow us out the water. But seeming as we have nothing else we can do, we're going to place our active effect. So right now, my side of the board has changed. His is still the same, but my side has changed, which means that if we remember what this does, any monsters that are dinosaur, zombie, or rock types will get a bonus. Just like his insects get a bonus, ours will get a bonus as well. Obviously, we don't have any of those monsters, so we're just going to summon this guy real quick and just leave it at that, okay? That's it. We're done. There's not much else we can do. In fact, we're off to a pretty shitty start. So we're just going to continue and finish. That's it. Done. He's going to kill our monster because he can. He has the ability to. He's an asshole. He's a common head. Look at him. What a bum. So no. Now, what you witnessed there is called a direct attack. So what happened is you can attack monsters on the field. Now, the way to diminish life points is if I have no monsters to defend my deck. So since here I have no monsters defending, he can attack directly my life points, right? Basically how that works. So here's a couple of cards. We have diddly shit, so that's great. So we basically have pure garbage is what I'm getting at. So we're going to deploy the only thing we can deploy, which is our Horn of Unicorn. So obviously this is a spell card. The equipped monster gains 700 ATK and defense when this card is set from the field to the graveyard. Return it to the top of the deck. The graveyard, by the way, is where monsters die. They go to the graveyard. And some cards allow you to basically pull monsters from the graveyard. So if your card is like dead, you can get it back from the deck and put it back in your deck. Some cards allow that. Some cards have different. Every card does something different. You just got to read what it does and memorize what it does. In this case, we can't do shit, so we're gonna just do what we know what to do. Now I'm gonna set this as a trap card. So obviously here he can't see what it is. He doesn't know. We know what it is, but he doesn't. Okay. And now we're basically done. That's all we can do. Let's get rid of that card already because we don't need it. Might as well. We have duplicate. Whatever. So this is all we can do. That's it. We're done. So he's putting all his monsters in the field and his bonuses. So obviously right there, he's attacking us directly, right, on the field. So we are basically getting raped out here, but, Apollo, you know what, we're going to surrender, and I'm going to come back and do this again, because there's no winning. We just got a shitty start. But I'll come back, and I'll explain it again in a little better way than it just fits in. Okay, we're back. We were first to go because we won the little rock, paper, scissors tournament. Now here we have a good start. So here we're going to put down our biggest monster. That's just rule of thumb. Usually that's depends. Sometimes you don't do that, but in this case, we're going to do it because we have this, and you know that's all there is to it. This card will come into play very much later if the need arises. Remember that forest I was talking about? Yeah, we'll explain what this is going to do in a minute. So, we have two of them actually, which is good. So, this is basically all we can do. So, okay, pretty good start. We got a nice monster on the field. Not too shabby at all. So now, what's going to happen here, he's going to put his bug insect, and he's going to put, now his ability, now remember, you have to read what they do. There's so many abilities, I can't even memorize them all. I have to read them, I have to look. Some people can memorize because they're just goated at this game, but I have to read, and if you have to read what the card says, don't feel ashamed, you're not stupid. So flip all monsters your opponent controls face up. This card remains on the field for 3 of your opponent's turns. While this card is face up on the field, monsters your opponent controls cannot declare an attack. So right now, my monsters can't attack. That's just what it is for 3 turns. So I can change it to defensive position, but I won't. We're going to deploy this guy on the field, and we're going to deploy nothing else because he can't attack. And face, that's 1 turn down. Okay. Aha! So now that he's deployed his forest card, which again, as you remember, gives a buff to his bugs and any insects, this card will actually negate. Oh, so here is the graveyard. These are cards that have been destroyed, but we're going to reclaim any card we want because of his ability. We're going to go boop, and then boop, or wait a minute. I'm going to get this guy. He has a high attack. I like him. He's cool. Plus, he looks cool. So, we're shuffling the deck. Okay, so now here is what happens. So, as we stated before, his thing has a buff. But this card, this little dandy little card, negates that. When this card is activated, if there are any field spell cards on the field, destroy them, during each player's standby phase, the player. So basically, anytime there's an ability from a forest, desert, anything like that, we put this baby. Now, mind you, we can activate it now, or we can set it so we can activate it later. And if we set it, he won't know what it is. But because why not, we're going to activate it now. Boom, no more forest. So right there, all his bugs do not have their buff anymore from the forest, as we stated before. That little buff they got, capiche, gone. Now I'm going to put my monsters on the field because I can. And now remember, this one has the 5-star, so this is you must tribute one monster in order to tribute summon this monster. So we must give up one of these monsters. So I'm going to give up this one because, right here, because I don't care. Simply just a little fuck. And that was all we could do. Now we're going to battle. Now, seeing as his defense is way higher than my attack, I am not going to bother to attack. Instead, I'm just going to play it cool. And he could kill my monster, which is probably what he's going to do. Which is honestly a bad mistake on my part. But whatever. We're going to just play screw it and go on with it anyways. Turn change. Ooh. That's 500 damage per turn, baby. We like. So, obviously, this is basically the gist of it. Now we're just kind of reading the cards. So, all it is reading the cards and playing them right and making sure that all your details are set. You want to make sure everything is methodical. This game is all about methodical strategy. So, in this case, we're going to attack now. We should be able to attack now. This guy, no, we still can't. So, end phase. That's it. We're done. There you go. 3 turns up. That's his card gone because his ability's over. So now next time we can attack if we so choose. Alrighty. He's gonna kill my guy. But monsters can only attack one monster per turn. So if you have 5 monsters, each monster can only attack once for every monster you have. So since one is 1, we attack once, we stop 2, so we're good. We have 1 left. So now this card is a very, very beautiful card. Activate this card by targeting one monster your opponent controls cannot attack or change it. So basically, it puts it into prison. So we're going to set this card for now. We're not going to use it yet, but we're going to set it there because we want to use it later. Now, we're going to be using our Darth Magician next card. Not now, because our turn is basically up, but just wait and see. Draw phase. Now, your opponent drew a card. Now, remember how we set that card before? We're going to activate it if we want, which we do, and we're going to click on it, activate effects, and we're going to choose the monster we want. Now, these are face down, so we don't know what they are, but I'm going to take a guess and do this one right here, because this one seems to be the biggest issue on our deck. I'm playing it. There you go. So right now, this monster cannot move nor attack for that remaining up. So he changed it. Interesting. Very solid play by this peanut head over here. So our life points are basically fucked. But that's okay. Aha! Mirror Force. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. We're gonna set that baby right there for now. So when this bum attacks us, fuck him up, right? We'll do this again because we want to get more damage as much as possible. And 2 is 1,000, so 1,000, 1,000, or 500, 500, 1,000. So that's pretty good. Battle phase. Still not strong enough. Now we can take a guess that hopefully these monsters are not as strong and we can kill them, but we don't know. Right there, we were right. we were able to, so luck was on our side that moment, and we were able to fuck him up. Now we can end turn. Now watch this, motherfucker's moves, and watch what I'm about to do. Aha! Burning land. Aha! Again. See? So there we did 1,000 damage, which is actually a lot of damage. So we're actually winning this fight now. Okay, now he has placed down his force yet again. Now since these cards are already on the field, their initial effect doesn't work. But watch me do. We're gonna set you down. And we're gonna summon you on the field for an extra protection. It's always good to have a little protection, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? We're gonna activate our side of the field as the thing, as the one that we want. Now mind you, obviously this is nothing because we don't have any cards that help this, but just like that. Now the reason, like I said, his force is still there because the initial attack is not there. Only the after effects of the attack. So we're gonna affect the card. Watch this. Yes. We're gonna click this. Activate effect. He's gonna attack. And any attacking monster on the field right now will die. If done right. We'll activate this one too. Boom. Change. Boom! There you go. What did I tell you? See? Already we're winning. We're barely winning. Well, we're winning, which is good. Now we have 2 cards that can attack at a single point in time, which is very much to our liking. Ooh, we're losing a lot of health there. Seeming as we're gonna do this, summon this guy. Not a great guy, but yeah, it's cool. We're gonna attack you. Ah, fuck. But luckily, we have more guys. We can attack you. And attack you again. Fuck. That did basically shit to that guy. Damn. And this cocoon is gonna rape us now. Watch. This is the problem that I'm facing here. Burning land. Again, we fucked them up. Again, we fucked them up. Not the greatest fuck-ups, but we're fucking them up somewhat. There you go. Monsters are dead. And now he placed a killer needle, which is not good. Main phase, turn change. Okay. Now this card is a very important card in your deck. And if you have this, this can change the battle effectively forever. Target one monster in either player's graveyard. So any monster that has been destroyed, you can essentially just get it back anytime you want. So obviously these are all fucking ass, but seeing as this is our greatest monster that we have possible, we're gonna take him. And there you go. Now you can pick, I wanna pick attack because we're losing this fight, so we can attack that motherfucker. Boom, just like that. We have another card on the field. We have 3, he has 2, but we are losing a lot of life points. Now we're gonna summon this guy. We need to negate 2 monsters for this. Now we wanna make sure that this is a proper strategy because 2,000. We're gonna summon that. We're gonna take these 2 dimwits out the fight. Useless motherfuckers. We're gonna put that guy in. Now, since he has 2,000, mind you, Darth Magician is the fucking coolest card in the game. If you think otherwise, you're a poser. I mean, he's great. We're gonna battle. Attack. Fuck, he negated our attack. Not good. Not good. Ah, shit. Well, we lost. But that's basically the gist of how you play the game, and that's how you basically learn to fight and do all that stuff. We lost fair and square. We played our cards wrong. We did that for sure, all wrong. But you get the point, and that's essentially how you play. Oh, he hasn't attacked us yet. Yeah, we lost. But anyways, hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this brings you into the universe and the realm of Yu-Gi-Oh! And oh my god, if you have not played Yu-Gi-Oh! On your computer, on a phone, or any kind of version of Yu-Gi-Oh! You're missing out, dude. Anyways, peace out. Hope you guys enjoyed. Love you. Bye-bye.